All right. Hey, YouTube, I'm Lucky, and today is Thursday, and that means it's time to cover the TWAB. This week at Bungie, Bungie has just announced some crazy news. I mean, they are returning some of the Trials of the Nine weapons. I mean, there is some crazy stuff happening in Season 15. Season 15 might actually be one of the best seasons in Destiny history at this rate with all these crazy changes. Bungie really, pulling out all the stops and bells and whistles and everything for this. This is crazy. Here, let me cover all this news here. All right, first up, they go over weapon tuning, and they go over all these different terms. These are terminologies that you should know by now. Obviously, I cover a lot of this stuff in my videos, and these are like common knowledge. Like we've got damage fall off, projectiles, shotguns, shotgun spread, etc., stuff like that. If you don't know, if you're unfamiliar with that exact terminology, go to the TWAB and read all of this in further detail. One thing they do mention, though, is that when they nerfed quick draw, they actually have now fixed the quick draw glitch, or they're calling it the quick swap glitch. So that's going to be a very big, very crazy change there. Some people are definitely going to be upset and angry about that. You can see it on Twitter. I'm sure people are about to just absolutely light their pitchforks and sharpen their torches. So next up we have, I don't know, I said that backwards. Running out of primary ammo has never been tactically interesting. So they are actually giving us infinite primary ammo now, because they're adjusting the special ammo economy, which means they're restricting the special ammo economy a little bit. And by doing so, they didn't want to end us like they did in D1. They did us dirty. In year 3 of D1, if you don't remember, or if you didn't play the game back then, they restricted special ammo so much that you would literally spawn into trials and you would only have primary ammo. It was bad. And in this game, in Destiny 2, you sometimes run out of primary ammo. So that would be absolutely terrible, especially with perks like drop mag and stuff like that. That would be awful. So you're now going to have infinite primary ammo, and this will affect how you pick up primary ammo bricks for inertia override, which is a Titan ability, which if you're not a Titan main, then it won't really affect you. They talk a little about how they're going to adjust all the other stuff, but overall they're just giving you infinite primary ammo. You'll never run out of primary ammo again when playing Destiny 2, which is definitely an interesting move. I think that it's fair because there's not really an instance where having infinite primary ammo would be OP, I guess, other than maybe like trying to solo a grandmaster, and there's just so many, you just sit in the back with a bow infinitely, right? So I think that's a good move. I think it was a good decision overall. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below if you agree. And so they talk about how they reissue weapons with certain perks, and they remove certain perks from that weapon and add new perks to that weapon. Sometimes they get it wrong, and they remove some of the most strongest perks. So essentially the newer version of the weapon is shittier than the old version. And so thankfully they're adjusting those frustrations, and we'll be more in tune with that. We'll see that. So we'll see what happens in the future, right, in regards to that. Now, next up, they said we've made a few small adjustments to weapons reissued in 3, 2, 1. Everyone's favorite roles. Tiger Spite. Okay, so yeah, they've already adjusted some of this stuff right here. Yep, that would be really cool. Be really cool to see how they address this moving forward, because it's definitely been an issue with the sunsetting weapons, and then similar weapons coming back and not being quite as strong. I've made a few videos talking about this, and it's definitely been a hot topic. They talk about archetypes here. Breach grenade launchers become a pain point. They're slightly nerfing, adjusting them, and they said that they're going to keep their eye on them a little bit more. I don't think they're trying to nerf them really hard by any means at this point in time. And I don't know if they really necessarily need to be nerfed that hard. Let me know if you agree or disagree. They are annoying at times, but, I like people to have a different variety of playstyles if they really want. So they're doing some slight adjustments to that, and they're keeping their eyes on that. And increased damage to PvE by 20% for machine guns. That's huge. Machine guns are now going to be tearing it up in PvE. I didn't realize it was going to be that big of a buff. 20% is insane. Scout rifles and hand cannons are going to be increased damage by 15% to miners, so there's going to be really much more efficient for ad clear with scout rifles and hand cannons. Definitely really exciting stuff to see there. Happy to see that. And then they go on this huge rant with fusion rifles. Oh my gosh, every different archetype of fusion rifle is getting changed. Charge time, perks, adept mods, you name it. I'm not going to cover all of the details of this, but if you want to know every single detail in regards to this fusion rifle change, it's definitely crazy, right? The end result of this is that fusions are about to be nasty. Like, it's about to be a fusion rifle season this season. Especially, we saw there's anti-champion fusion rifle mods. Just like we have this season, there's grenade launcher anti-champion mods. I think this next season is going to be a largely fusion rifle focused season. Let me know if you're excited or terrified of that in the comments below. You want fusion rifles to rule the Crucible, rule PvE. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what it's like for this season. I'm excited for it in PvE. I think it's fun. I think it's exciting to see a shift in the sandbox, a shift in the meta for what we use when we take into, high-end activities like raids, grandmasters, whatever it may be. But in PvE, I'm not the biggest fan of fusion rifles. I think that the playstyle that accompanies it can be pretty boring, where you're just hiding around a corner, pre-charging it, and then just strafe and just blast someone. So we'll see. You know, maybe we'll be a fusion rifle main after all in season 15, and maybe just maybe they'll change your opinions as well if you have the same sentiment as me. They're nerfing Anarchy. They're taking its magazine ammunition from 26 to 16, and they're reducing the damage by 30% versus bosses. And they said right here, champions are not bosses. Champions are actually majors in the game, if you didn't know that. So if you ever want to do increased damage to champions, anything that does increase damage to majors will affect those champions. So keep that in mind. Xenophage was already top-notch, and they're reducing the rate of fire to 120 to 90 RPM, and it receives less of the machine gun PvE damage buff. They didn't say exactly how much less, but they just said less. So we'll see what happens with the Xenophage. Now, obviously, a big problem with infinite primary ammo is the fighting line. I mean, what the... Bungie, help me here, okay? Infinite... Can you imagine infinite primary ammo in PvP? Just someone just lobbing fighting lines endlessly? That would be awful, awful. So we're working a little bit to adjust that by making the reload speed absolutely atrocious. They said right here, base stat reload very, very slow. So you'll probably have to work to reload that fighting line through some other means or methods. We'll see. We'll see if it's OP. I don't know. If the reload is really slow, it shoots one shot at a time, it might not be as big a deal. We'll see though. Infinite fighting line ammo in PvP does seem quite a bit terrifying to me though. But one thing that is really interesting to me is this next one. We got the Vex Mythic class is getting a huge buff in PvE by 40% damage. The rate of fire is being increased from 360 to 390. I mean, reduced linear fusion rifle mode charge time from 820 to 533. The Vex is about to be nuts. The Vex is about to be insane in PvE and might even be nasty in PvP. We'll see if they're changing the overall damage. If they're just increasing the rate of fire while keeping it as a 360 RPM damage, that would be crazy. We'll see. The Vex definitely looking promising. They're doing some changes to the Merciless. Excited to see that. Reduce the damage penalty for increasing charge rate by 40%. Good to see. Merciless might be nasty. Jotun reduced charge time from 0.82 seconds to 0.7 seconds. And slightly reduced damage per shot. Okay, so they gave it something good and gave it something bad. We'll see. We'll see what the Jotun adjustments are like in the future. I hope we're not going into a Jotun meta because, dear God, I don't know if I can handle that in trials. But next up, they talk about the Bastion. Feels very strong with shotguns being less dominant. That's definitely true. So we're preemptively adjusting it in PvP. It's also super low usage in PvE, so we're buffing it there too. Reduce damage by 15%. Can now not quite kill a Guardian with one shot in 3 bursts. It fires. Wow, very interesting. This is going to be pretty crazy changes to the Bastion. Wow, I'm really excited to see that. Sweet Businesses perk refilling the magazine when picking up primary ammo no longer works in a world without primary ammo, so it's been adjusted. Now refills magazine on picking up special/heavy ammo instead of primary ammo. Some small adjustments. That's going to happen across the board. There's so many different exotics that are benefited or changed from like primary ammo, so there's not going to be any more primary ammo bricks, in the game. So they'll obviously have to do a bunch of small adjustments, but I'm sure they'll be fine. I'm not too worried about anything like that, and I'm actually kind of excited for infinite primary ammo for the most part. Seems like a good thing to add to the game. Perks firing line, they're doing some changes to that. Certain damage perks only affected impact damage on explosive weapons. We'll be updating these specific perks to increase detonation damage, kill clip, rampage, and adrenaline junkie. Interesting. Also fixed the rarity on some recently shipped weapon perks. VFX. We said weapon VFX were all custom and some didn't meet our desired cool factor, but we rebuilt these to speed up the process of adding new weapons or updating old ones while updating the visuals at the same time. Updated all grenade launchers and rocket launcher VFX. Ooh, I'm interested to see how that looks. Legendary fusion and linear fusion rifles now have distinct damage type charge VFX. Very interesting. And the near future, they're talking about they're focusing all their efforts on the Witch Queen. So if anything is absolutely catastrophic, I'm sure they would address it. But overall, I think that we're going to sit with the sandbox and these changes for quite a while. We're going to let it simmer throughout the season. And then later on, after the main focus is up, I think that we'll see some bigger changes made. I mean, I like when Bungie does these mid-season changes. So that's what they said. They're focusing all of their energy on the Witch Queen right now. So the more distant future, but still before the Witch Queen. Their fusion rifles and cast frame swords are still not where we want them to be. They're looking at underused exotics like Arbalest, Suros, Cryesthesia, Malfeasance, and more. Tons of really exciting stuff. If you have issues with spamming high fire rate, semi-automatic weapons as fast as possible, we've got something in the works for you. Priming a target and quickly swapping for cleanup is easier than we'd like, and we're looking at options for building towards faster swap speeds. Interesting. Witch Queen and beyond. We've talked previously about wanting legendary weapons to have more identity based on their source and expect to ship a new system for this in or close to the Witch Queen. Wow, so many changes. And then we go on to talk about weapons, bringing back a bunch of different weapons. Next season's ritual weapons is a rocket launcher with explosive light perk. I don't even know what that is. Explosive light. You receive a new quest during this weapon, and then you can get it in Gambit, Crucible, or Vanguard themed ornaments. Along with that, that's sick. That looks nice. I like that. Smash the like button on this video if you like the look of this rocket. That is aesthetically pleasing. I like that. Next up, they're adding a bunch of post-game rewards for completing Vanguard strikes, Gambit, and Crucible matches. These will drop randomly after completing these activities and random rolls. Here's a sneak peek. It's like we got a Suro's sidearm, got a Suro's auto rifle, and then this is what? This is a scout rifle, yeah? What is this? I think that's a scout rifle. That's kind of a weird archetype. Look into it, but and then they're also bringing back some of these Trials of the Nine weapons, like I talked about, which was really exciting to me because this hand cannon is gonna be a beast. This might be like a meta hand cannon. This might be the best hand cannon in the game. The shotgun was super good. The auto rifle, the pulse rifle, the sniper, sidearm. They're gonna come from the Prophecy dungeons, so get ready to grind that out. They're gonna have random rolls, and they're gonna be obviously updated, so they're not gonna be sunset like they are now. Really exciting stuff. They're also updating the world pool with some fresh drops, which is crazy. So we got like a sniper, auto rifle here. These are all like older weapons that are getting, reprised, I think. I don't think any of these are new. But the Minuet, is that what that was called? The Minuet? Or something skate? Someone typed in the comments below what this is called. The skate or the Minuet? I can't remember. My brain can't remember D1 or D2 year one very well. And then they're doing some relief efforts. There's some crazy stuff going on in the world, and I'll be donating and probably do a giveaway for some of these emblems because that's what I like to do. So make sure you follow me on Twitter and maybe you can enter that giveaway. Definitely good to see doing some good out there in the world. And then they cover the Bungie artist section, and I'm just going to keep it focused entirely on these sandbox changes because that's the main focus of the TWAB for me. And let me know what you are most excited from reading through all of this. I'll be reading all of your comments down below. Make sure to subscribe with notifications on, smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.